Hi guys, this is Julia from Just One More Card, and today I have a video for Purple Onion Designs, and I had really looked forward to coloring this Santa Claus stamp. And today I want to show you how you can color with high contrast. High contrast to me is a dark shadow and a light highlight, so that your colored images really get a lot of dimension. And I've been experimenting quite a bit with this, and I finally feel comfortable sharing this with you guys. I'm starting out by stamping Santa Claus onto some Simon Says Stamp heavy cardstock. This is Copic friendly cardstock. And I'm starting out with my darkest red. What I'm doing first is I'm laying down the shadows. And just so you know, I had actually stamped this image before in a scratch piece of paper, and I had drawn in the shadow with a pencil, so I would know where to actually place the shadow. So this doesn't just come to me, I have to think about this quite a lot. So that is my first step, drawing in the shadow areas with my darkest red. And you can see that I'm pausing here now and then and trying to ascertain whether this is really where I want the shadows to go, where would my light come from. In the end, I kind of messed up, like the light source is not coherent, like it doesn't really work out when you look at the image closely. But hey, I'm not an artist, I'm just doing this as a hobby, so I feel that is totally okay. And you can see that I'm also drawing in some lines as well sometimes, even though there are none, simply to indicate folds. And to me, that's a lot of fun. I'm moving on to my second color, which is the R37, and I'm just blending out the red here. I'm actually going to only color half of the image, and then I'm going to move on to the lighter color because I felt the need to get a better impression of the overall feeling of the color. So you will see that especially then when I go into the dark color, I will actually color section by section and not go through the entire image again. Now I'm going to my lightest color, which is the R35, and you can see how I fill this in. And then I'm actually jumping to my very darkest color, which is a G99. Yes, it's a green. I scoured Pinterest for some good color combinations, and there was somebody who suggested G99 as a dark shadow color for reds, and it works beautifully. You can see me here build up the color, and the shadow areas get really, really nice and dark with the G99. I had actually tried this with an R89 and I could not get the same effect. The G99 really gives it a different tone, and it makes really a whole lot of a difference. And you will see here in the moment, I'm sorry, this will be very fast, so watch. You will see a before and after of this. Look. Here's before I added the green, and here's after I added the green. And I think it's very obvious just how deep of a shadow you can get with the green. It's really, really worth trying this out. Believe me, I was completely astonished that this worked out so nicely. Here I actually put down the green immediately. This is, if you hear strange noises, Sissy! That's my cat. She feels neglected, so she is scratching a box, trying to ruin my recording. But we're just not going to let her ruin this. We're gonna watch me color the rest of Santa Claus. I sped this up. I actually jumped like half of his coat here because the principle is the same. In the very darkest areas, I'm putting down some of the G99 and then blending this out with the R59 by going over this again. And I'm trying not to make this area too large because I only want the shadows to be very dark. I don't want the rest of the image to be very dark. Jumping to my R37 here to blend this out a bit more, and then coming in with my R35 and going over the entire thing to color everything in. If you find that going over the entire thing lightens your colors up too much, just go back in with your darkest color and add some of it. That's no problem at all with Copic markers. That's also my cat. Gee. So, Grace. I originally had intended to leave it as light as is, but then I realized I missed the contrast, so I'm coming in with an N5, and you can see that I'm simply drawing in a tiny rectangle here, and look what a huge difference that makes. And then I decided need to go darker, so that was actually an N3 before. This is an N5. The rectangle I'm drawing in is actually even smaller. You can see I'm having a very light hand here, and it immediately looks like a deep fold. The difference is really amazing. I had to jump a little bit back and forth here with my recording, so that's why suddenly the rim of his head changed. but I wanted to show you what I did to his head, like in one go, not apart. And then I'm just going over the beard here. I'm only putting the dark color where the artist drawn lines are to show some shadow. And I'm using the same colors for the beard, for the rim of the head, and for the white trimmings on his coat. And you can see I'm not going up very far here, but I just wanted to give an indication of this. I used my brother's scan and cut machine to cut this image out because I didn't want to fuzzy cut it. So basically the brother scan and cut does what the name implies. You send this through, the machine scans the image, then it recognizes the image, and then you can have it cut around the image. You don't do any fuzzy cutting, it's all done by the machine, and it's amazing. I love it. I was so giddy when I saw how this turned out. So very happy. Santa Claus looks absolutely gorgeous, and since I used very sturdy cardstock, it's almost like an embellishment. So happy. Now for my card base, I'm using Basil Marshmallow cardstock, that's also heavy cardstock, and I'm using 3 different colors of distress ink. I cut a piece of masking tape here to mask off the bottom part of my card, and I'll be listing all the distress colors in the video description below or on my blog, and I'm creating a light backdrop. So I'm trying very hard here not to get my fingers into the ink because I know I'll mess it up. I just know I'll do that. So using 3 different like greens and aqua colors here to create a background, and I'm trying to have it become very light towards the top. I want to blend this towards white. And then I decided I needed a little bit warmer, so I'm actually coming in with the yellow here just on the very bottom to give it a little bit of a warmer tone. So once this was done, I had removed my masking tape. Then I put down Santa Claus and this is not really Copic friendly paper, but just drew in where Santa would be standing and adding a light shadow here with a blue Copic marker. I just want him to have a little bit of a shadow so he doesn't look like he's standing in midair. I put a generous amount of foam tape behind Santa Claus, putting him down here on my card, and the sentiment, by the way, is also by Purple Onion Designs. By the way, if you're watching this in November 2015, Purple Onion Designs has a sale going on. So if you hop on over to my blog or follow the links in the video description below, you will be taken to the Purple Onion Design store where you can save up to 25%. Just saying. So right now I'm adding some sequins to my card. The sequins are by Pretty Pink Posh, of course, and I'm using my glossy accents with the fine tip applicator to put them down. And then of course I had to bring out my jelly roll pen to add a few dots here and there and actually try to connect the sequins with connect all the sequins. And I started out with the jelly roll, but later on I even added some white dots with my white gel pen just for some additional contrast, and you will see that in the close-ups. Here is one of those close-ups, and you can see that I added the white dots between the jelly roll dots on this background, and it just looks gorgeous. It's a tiny bit of contrast, and I don't know, I think it makes a lot of difference. Here you can see how much it pays off to have sturdy cardstock because it looks great even if you look at it from the side. And I added the Stardust pen to the beard of Santa Claus as well. I just couldn't help myself. It sparkled so nicely. And here's the close-up of the entire card. I just love how this turned out, and this card is already on its way to the recipient, and I hope she will like it. So, I hope you enjoyed this coloring tutorial, and it will embolden you to use darker colors as well in your coloring. If you like this video, please subscribe, and I wish you a fantastic day. Cheers!